tide that's coming in, so to speak.
Oh, nice.
So we love it here. We have it's kind of like a timeshare, but it's not. Yeah, but the closest thing to call it would be a timeshare. So this is our definitely our happy
Oh,
place.
I love it. Yeah, we have a place, well, as you saw last week in Palm Desert, which
Yes.
is the JW Resort. And our timeshare is actually Canadian, and we've never ever stayed in it. But we exchange it all the time for JWs. And then when you're in their buyers club, they do what's called getaways, and it's just open inventory to owners. And
Hmm.
we got a studio last week for 7 nights for $320
Oh my gosh.
at the resort. And because of the unit that we own, we get grandfather's privileges to the spa for free. So we can use that beautiful spa pool Monday to Friday as part of it.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely one of our favorite resorts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Debbie, it's her happy place. And whenever she gets down, I think last year she went 7 times.
Wow.
It's a 2-hour flight from here, and she just grabs a couple of girlfriends and off they go.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm
Love it.
jealous. But anyway, it's all good. I don't get to go as often as she does, but she needs sunlight. We get a lot of dark, long days here, and it is not a good thing for my wife. So,
Yeah, I get that. Well,
so,
good.
so you're back in Sassy then, I take it.
Yeah, you know what, Jonathan, I couldn't make up my mind, and then I got invoiced, and I'm just like, all right, I'll give it one more year and really make my focus, um, dotting the I's and crossing the T's on all the things I started.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just kind of, it came by in a way default because I was so on the fence. So, yeah, so we'll see.
No, that's great. Well, I'm all in on Sassy anyway.
Right.
So, and the beautiful thing is we're in the same small group now. So, and
I
any of
know.
the ideas that anybody sends your way, I can pick up on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, no, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, and funny, I won a contest yesterday, which was to bring a friend to the event. I think it ended up having 5 people come to the event, 3 of which were my team,
Oh,
but
wow.
it still counted. And then 2 clients from San Diego. So I won second prize. The first prize was 15 minutes on stage at the May event, which I would have loved. But anyway, I got second prize, and would you believe is a 90-minute one-on-one with Lisa Cherney.
Oh, that's great.
So I messaged her and said, I am so looking forward to spending 90 minutes with you, my darling. And she went, I bet you say that to all the girls. She's funny. I mean, she is funny.
Very funny.
So I'm really looking, because she has good insights. I mean, you know where you're at with her and stuff. I mean, what I do and what she does, I think is super complementary.
Yeah.
And sometimes once you've got your stuff together and you go back to somebody like that, they can help fine tune some of the one-line phrases or the opt-in offer name and that kind of thing. And she's genius at that. So I'm
She is.
excited. I'm excited
Yeah.
to blend the two together. So yeah. And your
Yeah.
site is actually live to the world.
Oh, it is. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we went live. Well, JenniferHines.com went live on late Monday afternoon.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a soft launch. We're testing it on all the different browsers and mobile responsive devices to make sure it appears right, whether people are using Firefox or Edge, which used to be Internet Explorer, Safari, Chrome, all those other things. So they do that to make sure it works everywhere. But yeah,
Good.
JenniferHines.com is on the airwaves.
Well, I have a page I still have to write up for you guys, which is the sales development page.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was like a disconnect, and it was my fault. I forgot what I was asked, but I said remove. Oh, I know what I was asked. I was asked about the menu I had on that page on my existing site.
Yes.
And I said I didn't want to include that because I've had people comment that they didn't want a canned, sales training.
Yes.
And it got interpreted as eliminate the page.
Oh,
and I just meant eliminate the menu.
Yeah, no, yeah, no problem. So, because right now we've got hiring and evaluation right now,
Right.
and then there's a loop. So yeah, no, for sure, it's all in
And
there.
then I took a picture today of because one thing I noticed this morning, do you know what I mean by the widgets that I have? Okay, so that sales calculator and the Salesforce evaluation widget are sitting in the blog, and I want those taken out. And I took a picture. One of the partners in the OMG world that I'm part of, they put all of that underneath tools, a tab called tools.
Yep. Yeah.
And I wonder if that doesn't make sense, if
Yeah.
that's not too much work.
Sometimes we call it resources.
Yeah, or resources.
Yeah, we can totally we can do that. Yeah, no, we do that a lot, and that can
And there's even more widgets that I can pull off of my OMG partner zone to make that robust.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, super,
And
super.
they're
Yeah.
simple. You know what I mean? They're just links. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking we'll do there, and that'll
What we try and do is create, like, rather than just a link with a hyperlink, we try and create an icon around each one of those, so it's a little bit more unique to you. And there's different suites of icons that we can look at, or we can customize them a little bit too. Because right now you have those lovely blue boxes with the orange line. So
yeah.
If we use, say, those blue boxes, but we called it the the sales calculator or whatever. But so when they looked at it, it looks a bit more corporately branded to you. I think that would look really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and we're just like we have on the hiring page where we got those 4 boxes. However many we've got, we'll set it out in a similar sort of look, and then it'll look just like it's unique to you. And I think that'll look really cool, actually.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and then on the contact page, I noticed we've got a picture of you and your honey with beautiful cocktails and big chunks of pineapple on that. So, you're comfortable with that picture?
You know what? There were a couple pictures I wasn't crazy about, but I wasn't too concerned at the moment. But let me go back to it, because there was one I definitely didn't want.
I mean, it's a good picture, but given the look and feel of the whole site, it's you in a resort. There's a swimming pool behind you. You've got beautiful cocktails. I mean, I would love that to be a picture of you with a martini or something at a high-end bar in a hotel where you might meet somebody. I think that could work. But just to me, I mean, I never sort of second guess Lindsay, and I wondered if this was a bit more of a placeholder picture. But I think we could do a better version of that.
I do too. 100%.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's what we're here for, to keep up leveling and changing that around, because we didn't have too many pictures of you in corporate, and in some ways, although we want to sell corporate, we don't want you to just come over as just corporate. We want you to come over. I mean, that's what I love about the About page, where we have that montage of your dog, and we actually need to get a grandchild picture in there too. And that serial killer picture, that's genius.
The what picture?
The Halloween picture of your daughters as serial killers.
Oh, isn't that hilarious?
That was just genius.
That's Kristen. She's my highly creative one.
Oh, so smart. Yeah. So I think because you've got the Indiana sweatshirts on, which is perfect. The boat, the golf, the dog.
I think I already said this to Lindsay, but I want to swap the what appears to be yachts for one of our lake pictures, and I have several of those, because we're not yacht people. We have like a ski boat, and we're on a lake, and that would be more.
Okay, sure. And if you have an actual picture, that would be.
I do.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, perfect. Yeah.
So,
and do you play golf?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a picture of you in golf attire?
I do. It's probably not very current, but I do.
If you're comfortable with it, and it looks like you, I think that.
You know
what I mean. Some people change their hairstyle, hair color, and it's like, oh yeah, I used to be brunette. But in fact, Lindsay is exactly. She is now beautifully low lighted blonde, and most of the pictures I have of Lindsay is when she was brunette. And,
oh my gosh, I can't even picture that.
Yeah. That's what she thought her color was, and then we did quite a lot of work with Liana Chaoli, And she's all about going back to your natural color. And Lindsay's a bit more gray than brown these days, as most ladies are.
Right.
She said, go natural. And she said, no. So the step is to go low light blonde and then let the gray blend in, and then it sort of becomes more. Anyway, to your mind, but that's yeah.
I don't know if I ever told you this, but back in my Jack Canfield certification days, so I was in his inaugural Train the Trainer program, and Liana was part of that, and we each got an hour consult with her, and she was basically telling me the same thing, and I just can't do it.
Debbie can't
I'm
either.
like,
Debbie's like, there's no way.
My core, you know.
Yeah.
So it was just game over. And then she told me brown is my black, and I'm like, well, you need to come look at my wardrobe because I'm gonna have to throw everything out.
She's so anti-black. It's a Persian thing, from what I can understand, because in Persia, black is the color of mourning and death, and they do these long state mourning periods. I know what she's saying, and in fact, I hardly wear any black at all now. I always had a black sports coat that I used to wear when I presented, and now I have a blue. So for me, this royal navy blue palette, because it's my eye color, is my black. And and I appreciated that from her, because I had that color. I just didn't realize how much it popped on me, because I always thought black was the proper color.
Right.
Because that's what I worked in a department store for 2 years, and every manager had to have a black suit, white shirt. You could be creative with a tie, but it was always black and white. That was it. So that was my upbringing. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, but yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's not in Sassy anymore, but Lisa's still. I trade secret. I always wondered why Lisa sort of kept promoting Liliana again and again and again, and she always says that Liliana dresses her.
Right.
She does, but Lisa doesn't pay for it. Liliana finds the clothes and gifts them to Lisa, and then Lisa promotes her. I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah, it is. But it's funny because I could tell from day one that Liliana probably dressed her.
Yes. Yes.
I can just see the signature style in there.
Yeah, and it works. And Lisa just says, I don't have to think about it. I have a 3-day event. She knows it's coming up, and I get a box, and it's like, she has her own shoes, but she said, this is one day, this is Tuesday, this is the Friday night. And she said, it works for me. So gotta love that.
Absolutely.
Gotta love that. So the reason I wanted to talk to you today very specifically is I just want to go deeper about your past, not from a psychological perspective at all. I just want to hear the juicy pieces of your childhood, your grandparents, how you got into sales, just so I can start to get some different ideas around blending in your speak to sell talk that makes it a little bit more unique for the kind of work that we do. And it's just a simple conversation, really. I mean, I can be backwards and forwards. I can tell you a little bit about mine, and you can see where that comes from. But
okay.
I mean, my first date with Debbie, get this, was I took her to see my trade show booth.
I love it.
And literally, I picked her up from home. I met her parents. We drove into town and said, oh, I have to show you, because the trade show was the next day. And a lot of people were still setting up their booths, but I'd already done mine. And I walked in and said, here I am. This is where I'm going to be all weekend. And then I was 16 when I met Debbie, and I was already working for my parents. And I really wanted to make a lot of cash because I was aggressive. And my dad said, well, this is the wage I'm paying you, but if you want to earn more money, I'll pay you a commission. And I cold called door to door for 2 years selling loft insulation. And by the time I was 18, I had an Audi Quattro that I paid for in cash. And I never looked back on sales because I was motivated to make money. And I didn't realize that knocking on doors was a big deal. It was just something I was super comfortable. And I would come back with 4 or 5 leads a day. And my dad would look at me, it's like, what did you do again? I went, I just knocked on the door and said, hi, my name's Jonathan. You probably don't have your loft insulated and you're losing all of this money through the roof. And did you know the government has a £300 grant? So I know the size of your house. It's probably going to cost you about £450 for us to do it. You're getting 300 from the government. So for £150, we could insulate your roof. And within 2 years, you'll have got that money back on heat savings. And the rest of the time, you're doing your right bit for the environment and you're saving a lot of money. How does that sound? And they went, when could you do it? And that's how I started in sales. And I've been super comfortable with the process ever since. I mean, obviously the ticket gets higher and the process gets longer, but that's how I started. And a lot of people can identify with that little story about me.
It's a great story. Yeah, that is a great story.
So how about you? What were your parents' careers?
My dad was in sales.
There you go.
My mom really didn't work. When I say that, she'd probably shoot me, but she worked for the American Cancer Society, but it was more part-time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very admirable. Short story, but I had a lady call me yesterday about joining my boot camp, and just out of the blue, I spoke to her and I said, "Can you tell me your website?" She said, "Yeah, it's fearlesslyfit.ca," and I looked at it, and it's all about cancer survivors and bamboo cloth. And I said, "So tell me the story." She said, "Well, when I was going through chemo, I couldn't wear any clothes because my skin was so irritant, except bamboo, and I just couldn't buy bamboo. So I created my own clothing line." I said, "Wow."
Oh, that's cool.
I said, "So where are you at with your treatment?" She said, "I'm stage 4. There's nothing more they can do. I probably have 6 months to a year left, and I'm not giving up on my treatment, but there's nothing more they can do. So I'm just eating clean and doing what I can, but I'm creating a legacy for other people, who are going to be here after me."
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my God. And this story was not on her website. I went, why can't I read this? What do you think? That's what people want to hear? I went, yeah. So she said, how much is the boot camp? I said, I already just registered you. I said, oh, she said, okay, but you haven't told me how much yet. I said, no charge.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't charge her.
No.
I was getting chills.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you talk about the American Cancer Society, I bet there's some stories in your family that where your mum was there that you could totally bring in them into the audience.
Would that be? No.
Oh, okay. Do you do much fundraising, philanthropy wise?
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. There must be a cause that you love, though.
Well, I do have a cause with the with breast cancer. My sister got it at 40. Yeah, so that would definitely be one of the causes that.
Okay. And that's close because that's your sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Okay, but not your mum.
No.
Okay, so it's not so much of a genetic thing. That's good. Yeah, but we could totally bring that out. Okay.
Yep.
And even though your mum was paying it forward, I'm sure your mum was doing that before your sister got cancer, right?
Oh yeah, this is when I was really young. Yeah, it feels so disconnected when my mom was doing that it doesn't even, it truly doesn't feel part of my story.
Okay, fair enough. So your dad was in sales. What kind of sales?
Yep. He worked for the phone company.
Yeah.
And it was business to business.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So phone systems. This is back in the, 60s and 70s, and I mean, his whole career was there.
Love it. Which company was it?
It started off as Indiana Bell, but that became AT&T.
Okay. All right, got it. Oh, that's cool. That's Indiana because that's on all your sweatshirts and stuff. So.
Yep.
The local store. And
there is one Purdue sweatshirt. That's why we call ourselves the House Divided, because Indiana and Purdue are rivals.
Oh, yes, I see the P. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Caitlin did her undergrad and graduate at Purdue. And then, ironically, Kristen's boyfriend's a Purdue grad. He played baseball for Purdue. So we are 100% the House Divided.
Oh, can't wait until next week for your midterms to see what the House Divided looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Okay, that's interesting. Do you have any photographs of your dad back in the 60s in his suit and tie and going out to work or anything? with his hat on
Mm,
or anything?
I don't know.
Would Mom be able to go look?
Well, let's put it this way. I'd sooner find it than her because my mom's got early dementia and
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
yeah, she can't remember like a lot of that.
That's interesting because sometimes people have great old memories, but don't do so well with recent stuff.
You know what? It is kind of recent in that they bought a townhome a couple years ago after her stroke, and it's her finding stuff. Like that's the bigger problem.
Oh, I'm with you. Yes, yes, yes. I'm totally with you. Oh, bless her heart.
So
Okay. Yeah, could that kind of thing. Like, when I was a little girl, my dad was working for Indiana Bell, and I'd watch him go out of the door every day, his suit and his hat and his white shirt, and his little tie, and away he went selling B2B. I was watching that as a little tiny girl.
yeah.
I could see that.
Okay.
If I'm off base, let me know, but I'm just throwing things out and we'll see what sticks. So,
Okay. Well,
uh,
yeah, that's a maybe.
yeah, we can definitely find an Indiana Bell logo, I'm sure, from that era, if
Hmm.
not. So that would make a lot of sense too. And then there would be some family pictures, even of just you and your sister and your dad and mom at that age, I would think too.
Yeah, and I have a brother.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep,
Oh, perfect. So, and brother. And are you the eldest?
I am.
I wondered that. Me too. There's something about elder children. I love
You
it.
got it.
Yeah, I know. And then I have three girls. So, and I was actually one of four boys, but my eldest brother was my half brother. So I was kind of like my dad's eldest in the blended family as it was way back in the day. Um,
Okay.
yeah, bizarre. I mean, my mum married very young, had a baby. Her husband cheated on her, left her, single mom. So she was
Wow.
bringing her up with back living with her parents. My dad delivered fuel, and that was a family business, was oil delivery to the factory that she worked at, which is a photographic print company. And he would come to the office to have her sign the docket for the fuel. And eventually he asked her out, and that's how they met. And the crazy
Wow.
thing was, because she was divorced, the Church of England would not allow her to remarry, and almost made her, like, branded her as unforgivable lady of
Oh,
society. For it's
that's
just
awful.
atrocious. Anyway, the Methodist Church came along and said, "We'd love to marry you."
Yeah.
And funny enough, Debbie's parents and my parents got married in the same Methodist church, but we didn't know each other then. So yeah, all these little tie-ins. Okay, so we got some family pics. So what about you? You went to school where?
Wow. So I started at Eastern Kentucky University and transferred to Indiana.
Okay. And when did you meet your hubby?
Officially meet, well, let's put it this way. I've known Jeff since the seventh grade,
Oh wow. Yeah.
but we started dating officially, it would have been like prom of our senior year of high school.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
So that would have been 1984.
I can beat you on that, but that's okay. I met Debbie in '82.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said 84. Just across the room. It was 1980. We graduated college
Oh,
in 84.
okay.
It was
You beat me.
1980? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we graduated in 80.
Oh, I love it. Okay, no, you beat me. Definitely beat me. I tell you, there ain't many people around though that have this kind of tenure in a relationship.
Uh-uh. Not
It's
at all.
it's scary, but hey,
Yeah.
it's the way of it. Okay, so went to university. What did you major in?
Business.
Oh, okay. And
So at the time at IU, It's basically called the Kelley School of Business now. I don't even remember what it was called back then, but now it's called the Kelley School of Business. And back then, I guess my major was marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But my junior year, I had an internship with Black & Decker, tool company.
Yes. Yeah.
And they hired me in a sales role. And they hired me before I even graduated. They made me an offer, and I became their first female sales representative in the power tool division.
This is huge. I love. Sorry, I'm laughing, but this is gold. Oh my god! Do you use any of this?
No.
Oh, okay.
And it was like back in the 80s, early 80s. I mean, there were very few women. I mean, I could count on one hand, like in the whole industry.
Oh my word! So you were really pioneering. Wow. Okay. So Black & Decker. So how long were you with them?
I was only with them a couple years, and then I got out of the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
And went to work for a guy that owned a manufacturer's rep agency in the hardware industry. So I didn't change what I was doing, except I went from only selling Black & Decker to selling multiple product lines.
Mm-hmm.
So we were independent contractors for companies that either were doing, well, most of them were already doing business with the likes of True Value and Ace Hardware and those type of people. And I worked for him, let's see, 85 to 87. So I worked for him for a few years. And then in 1987,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 1987, I started my own manufacturer's rep agency.
Year I got married.
Okay, big year.
It was a great year. So you started your own agency. Wow.
I did. So I went to business for myself, and I've never looked back. I've been self-employed since 1987.
31 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. And what was the name of your company when it started?
Gosh, Jeff, what did I name my company when I started as a manufacturer's rep? I'm so stuck on my current business because I've had it for 20 years.
Yes.
Right. Was it Hines? I had my name in it, I think. Jonathan, honest to goodness, I got to go back and look that up.
Yeah, it's a great story. Yeah, good to know.
Because what I did, I worked for, in my own business for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 89, when I was pregnant with Caitlin, because I in the first 2 years, I grew to about 7 million in sales. And
excuse me, I just want to acknowledge that your own business in the first few years, you went to 7 million in sales.
I did.
Okay. Lisa Jasovich talks about going to 2 million, and the whole audience goes, "Wow." Okay, sorry, just saying.
Yeah. And then so in 89, I'm pregnant, and I'm going crazy because it was me, myself, and I. I didn't even have an assistant. So I was selling it. I was customer service. I was everything. And I went, oh my gosh, I either have to start hiring people or, merge with another company. And I spent about a year in due diligence. I ended up merging. It was a company that was doing about the same revenue I was, but they had some infrastructure that I needed. So we became TMH Sales. And that would have been 1990,
Mm-hmm.
90 or 91. I could be off. And I stayed in the business, had a great partnership actually. But we grew, say, from about 15 million in 1990 to 115 million by 1999. And that's the year I decided to pull out.
1999.
Yep, end of 99.
I don't know if you had it in America, but in England, there was a show when I was a kid. It was called Space 1999. And it was this whole colony of people who lived on the moon and commuted to work. And it was just...
Never heard of that.
Oh, gosh, it was yeah, I remember it vividly. And of course, when you're a 4 or 5 year old kid in late 60s, I mean, 1999 seems so far away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But, wow.
Yep.
So you'd had your other daughter by then as well, I'm guessing.
I did, 93.
93. Oh, same year as Gemma. And your other daughter's name is?
Kristen.
Kristen and Caitlin.
Yeah. She's an E-N.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, 93 Gemma was born too. So got it.
Oh, wow.
So 25. Yeah, and then I had 93, 96, 98 for our three. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, we were 90 and 93.
Yeah. Debbie was determined to have all of her children by the time she was 30. And her 30th birthday was March 3rd, and Maddie was born February 19th.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect planning.
We squidged it. Thankfully, she was 2 weeks early, but yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was kind of just a goal to sort of just have a second, well, you know, the second chapter of life now, and our kids are in their 20s, and we're not empty nesters by any stretch, but we're definitely free to do what we want to do. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So left in 99.
Yep.
And so you're a mom with 2 children.
Yep.
$150 million company of which you're a partner in. What was your job title at that point?
You know, we really didn't have them.
Okay.
We just called ourselves, you know, we were the principals. There were 3 of us. Yeah, I mean, you know, Jonathan, it'd be easier to tell you my role. So without question, I was the biggest sales producer in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want this published, but you know, out of the 115 million, I was doing 40 of it at Just Ace Hardware.
Wow.
So, but I don't want that published.
No, it's fine. No.
So, you know, I had a huge sales role within the company as one of the, let's just call it, main producers. And then, you know, my real role, I was definitely the strategist and visionary in the company. I'm just very good at sales strategy. I didn't like my one partner. She managed the salespeople. That was not something I liked doing at all.
And you said you didn't like her?
No. I didn't like managing salespeople.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And what did the third person do?
He sold, but he kind of did all of our finances, and so he was more operational.
Got it. Okay.
Not the best sales guy.
Okay. So did they buy you out, or what did?
Yeah. The smartest thing we ever did was have a buy-sell agreement from day one.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we spent a year getting me out of the business because, you know, I had major influence with the principals because of the amount of sales I did. So we were very strategic in, you know, exiting me.
Yes.
And it was all amicable. I mean, I just was done. I was ready to move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was about a year process from the start of 1999 to the end of 99, because I was officially out January 1st of 2000.
Oh, I'm a new millennia.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's awesome. Gosh, so remember the Y2K, and that never happened.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I was in Heathrow Airport on New Year's Eve picking up Debbie's parents. We lived in London at that time, and they were coming to stay. And so they got one of the last flights into Heathrow on New Year's Eve, and the airport was empty. I have never seen Heathrow so empty because nobody wanted to fly just in case all these planes
Yeah.
dropped out of the sky or whatever. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, these are all building blocks in this story. Okay. Got it. And then.
Well, it was actually my business partner, my female business partner, who, when I was leaving, and yeah, you're having casual conversations about what's next, and I said, well, I'm going to take a little time off, but I don't know. I know I have to do something. She's like, did you ever hear of what business coaching is? And I'm like, no. She goes, I think you'd be great at it. You ought to look into it. And that was kind of the start. I just looked into it, and I ended up taking a 2-year curriculum at Corporate Coach University.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the launch of my current business.
Oh, my word. Because you have so much sales training in the trenches with real people and real commodities. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I've been doing it my whole life.
I always loved you, Jennifer, but now I have a whole new appreciation. I totally get it. Well, I'm getting it.
It all feels very inconsequential to me, but...
Oh, I know, but from a story perspective, the speak to sell story piece that I know we haven't worked on yet, and even in the background, even just a 3-minute video that we might compile around this, just to give people who is Jennifer Hines, very, very quick fast forward into this could be so powerful, actually. Exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Well, the link that might work with my dad's career. See, my dad was not entrepreneurial. He didn't take risks.
Okay.
So he was the type, and some of that's generational too, but yeah, he started a sales career with Indiana Bell, which became AT&T, and he retired from there. In fact, retired early, but it was pretty fixed income type of selling.
Yeah.
And while I knew I had sales in my blood, I needed way more opportunity and entrepreneurialism in there.
Yes. Yes. Oh yes. Yes. I can see that for sure. I can see that for sure. Love this. Okay. So the ASI business, was that what you called it in 2002, or what were you calling yourself then?
Yeah, I incorporated on it was a spinoff of our name. So my real company is called Hindsight. HINESIGHT.
Yeah.
And then I do business as Accelerated Sales and Leadership Institute.
Okay, and that's what you had back then as well?
I think I did the DBA around 2004 maybe. Okay.
Got it. My original company was the Jonathan Christian Consultancy, for want of a better name. That was 2004, funny enough. And then in 2008, I think you know my story of being in that terrible car accident, breaking my neck and having to have it rebuilt. It just didn't feel like a fit anymore. And I had to reinvent how I was marketing myself and everything. And I was in the Vancouver club at a very high-end sales training 2-day intensive with this fellow, and he was a good friend, and he gifted me a ticket because he could just see I was floundering.
Yeah.
And part of the unique branded story system, he said, you can't run with that company name anymore, buddy. I went, I know. And he said, of all the consultants that I know, and he and I had worked together previously, he said, you're one of the very few that takes his jacket off, rolls up his sleeves and says, okay, let's just move these boxes. Let's just do this. He said, you're not afraid to get dirty and help people hands-on. I went, yeah, of course. So he said, you're the guy that makes things happen. So there you go. It's kind of right. But for me, it's not about things. It's about people. In fact, it's about people, and it's about people and stuff. And I always say to people, it doesn't matter what your stuff is. If it has value and integrity and you believe in it, I can help you make that happen. He said, so you're the guy that makes stuff happen. I went, yes, I am. And I went to GoDaddy November 8th, 2008. and bought WeMakeStuffHappen.com.
Love it.
So that was
That's
my little
cool.
piece. But yeah, okay. So 2004, you went to the DBA, and then so you did Action Coach at some point along the way as well.
I did. Actually, let me think about this now. No, my first DBA was Action International.
Say again?
My first DBA
Yeah.
was Action International because
Okay.
that was the original name, and then it became Action Coach. And I was with them from 2004
Mm-hmm.
to 2008.
Okay.
No, 2010. 2010.
Oh, okay. 2010.
I think. I could be off, Jonathan.
That's okay. No, it's fine. The year of the Vancouver Olympics.
Yeah, I spent 6 years there, and I kind of remember 2010 because it was still, the economy had crashed,
Mm-hmm.
stocks in 2009, and I remember, I DBA'd 2009 to Accelerated because I made a conscious decision to shift my whole strategy, get out of the Action Coach system, and really just focus on sales because A, that was my pedigree, and B, it was easier to have conversations with prospects about how to up-level their sales than it was to get people to just invest because they wanted a business coach. People were really holding their pocketbooks tight.
Yes. Oh, I remember. Yeah.
So I got out of really marketing myself as that generalist and really focused on having conversations, about sales team.
Got it. Love that. Okay. When you were with Jack Canfield, when was that?
Well, it was an and, so
Okay.
It wasn't exclusive. I'm going to say that was around 2012.
Okay.
I became a train the trainer for him.
Okay.
I'm also certified and one of the founding members for John Maxwell.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much weight in all of these things. Awesome. Okay. And what was John's training program called?
The John Maxwell Group.
John Maxwell Group. Okay. Gotcha. So at this point, who would be your typical client around 2010, 2012?
Pretty much what I have now in terms of my one-on-ones.
Okay. Yeah.
I still have most of them. I've had one of my clients I've had for, come January, it'll be 14 years.
Oh my word. That says so much.
I've got others that are somewhere between 5 and 10.
Yeah. Got it. I mean, I've got clients that started with me in 2010 when I really started to understand what I was doing, and they're still with me, and I'm very proud of that. And
Yep.
some have evolved on, and I often say to people, the sign of me doing my job well is when you don't need me, because then I know I've done it right. It's not to say that we can't do business in the future, and like an orbit, I'll come around and things change and upgrades happen, and I want to tell you about new stuff, but I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking to empower my people to be able to do their own marketing piece. So, yeah, got it. Okay, awesome. Alrighty. And then in terms of a team around you right now, are you just back to you again, or?
It's just my assistant and I. Yeah. It's been that way forever.
Okay. So almost back to your roots of. Let me go back to my notes here. Back to 85 almost, and you had your own single business there.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yes.
So would you say you were happier between 85 and 87, or happier after you merged?
Oh, happier after I merged.
Okay, because you had the structure.
I had the structure. I had the camaraderie. Can't even say it.
Commodities.
No, not commodities.
Oh,
but
camaraderie.
Camaraderie. That's what I
Yes.
couldn't say.
Yes.
Yeah, and just having team around me. I mean, I really enjoyed it. But I'll tell you, by '99, I was tired of it
Yeah.
because it became a huge. It felt like a burden by that time, and I think it was just life was complicated with 2 young children, and my office was 60 miles from me, and it just became one more thing when I had to deal with just, I don't know, we had about 65 employees by that time, and I just wasn't having fun with it anymore. And I vowed when I went, whatever my next thing was going to be, it was going to be me, myself, and I.
Yes.
And it wasn't because anything was bad. Like I say, it was just, it was overwhelming. And now I'm back to, I'm tired of working alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't aspire to have 65 employees, I can tell you that. But yeah, I'm tired of doing it alone now.
Okay. So what's your goal? Obviously, right now, what does your new definition of success look like for the high producer sales expert team?
That's a good question. Well, I can tell you I have a financial goal that's $1 million a year in revenue.
Okay.
And yeah, I really want to do that.
Yep. I'm sure you can.
So that would be first, in terms of, finance. As far as what else it looks like, that, I would be doing it with others, that, I'd have others on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, maybe Jeff would want to join me someday.
I remember we talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
He didn't even budge though, so. But yeah, it would be one where I could create some legacy with it somehow, some way, and that I would have more freedom of time than I do now, because I don't. So I'm definitely aspiring to have sales while I sleep. So that would mean other products that are umbrellaed under this.
Yes. Yeah.
I talked to you about strategic conversations that convert and turning that into an online program.
Yeah.
So yeah, multiple revenue streams coming through that.
Got it. And in terms of hiring people, would you look at them becoming employees? Would they become franchisees? Would they be what would that look like?
I don't see franchise in the States. That's really complicated.
Okay.
And messy. I wouldn't go that route. It would probably be either employees or independent contractors. I'm very comfortable in that independent contractor space because that's how we operated that whole business that grew to what it did.
Yep.
But certainly people that I could train to deliver. And it's weird, Jonathan, because on the one hand, I know I'm in my happy place when I'm in a training mode. Like I do love teaching people. But I don't want to be running around to 10 different businesses in a given month.
Gotcha. So could you look at that in a more, I mean, like you've seen the boot camps and so on that I've developed since joining Lisa's program. Could you see yourself doing more virtual training with handpicked people into that and then delivering that, through Zoom or something like that?
The boot camp?
Mm-hmm. Your own version of it.
Yeah, so it depends on what product line we're talking about. So for example, if I'm going to command a minimum, this is a belief I'm going to give you right now,
Yep.
but if I'm going to command $16,000 minimum to deliver, say, the hiring process,
Yep.
that includes, the license for assessing, I feel like that's high touch.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a one-day VIP type of thing.
Yeah.
because I think, I'll end up selling more that are more in the $20,000 range just based on who I'm going to go after.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm seeing that high touch,
Yeah.
me being there.
Yeah.
But certainly when it comes to teaching sales and sales development, absolutely I could do boot camps.
Yeah. I mean, I find now that almost all of my meetings, just because of geography, are typically now on Zoom, and I rarely physically go meet people. I mean, unless it's in my city now, and even now I begrudge driving.
Yeah,
I
right.
have to drive an hour to meet somebody. Seriously, can you not just jump on Zoom?
Exactly.
Because I just love the freedom of. Plus, I get to record it. I feel like I'm almost, apart from a handshake or a hug. I mean, it ain't no different.
Yeah, I know.
I'm time
I'm all
efficient
for it.
without traveling. I don't have to be in a noisy coffee shop or a lobby or whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So you could have a virtual training space for one-on-one calls.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. And then exit strategy.
Yeah, I've been really remiss with that. I haven't seen an opportunity in how I've been running my current business to actually be in a position to sell it because it's been my brain.
Yes.
But certainly, if I could get some of these other programs up and running, perhaps hire, one or two people that can also deliver when it comes to, say, the Salesforce evaluations, the sales hiring, all of that. And who knows, perhaps that could be saleable one day.
Maybe. None of the children are interested in joining you?
No,
mine neither.
my daughter, Caitlin's, yeah, she's in speech pathology, so she's all medical, and Kristen's going into being in, well, she'll get into the latest technology of laser treatments and all of that. But yeah, they are definitely not business oriented.
Nope, fair enough. Nope. One of my girls, the youngest one, could definitely do it. She has no desire right now, but we'll see. The way my company is, you just saw on the invoices, it's JD Gem Consulting Inc. is our incorporated name, and that's, if you see my Speak to Sell, it's Jonathan, Debbie, Gemma, Ellen, and Maddie. It's the 5 initials.
Okay.
So, have you never seen my Speak to Sell talk?
No.
You might not. I will send you a copy of a webinar I did recently, and it'll give you a clear picture of what I'm thinking, or how I deliver. Yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, that's the name of our company. That was my email back in the 90s when we first started. We'd always sign our Christmas cards JDGEM, and we just call it JD Gem now. And then when I set up my incorporation company in 2008, I actually had them as B category shareholders. So if they ever wanted to take over the business and buy me out or whatever, there would be no capital gain because they're already shareholders and it was just a dividend swap. So I tried, but I don't know if it's ever it's going to come to play. But hey, you have these dreams. But yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So yeah, I think that's enough for me. I think that's awesome.
I just don't, I mean, God bless you if you can turn that into something. I just don't.
Well, I'm going to start, and it's not going to be, and there is no emotion in this at all for me. If you say, I hate that, I don't like this bit, what about this? It's going to be a work in progress. I won't take it personally. Well, I will, but it's okay.
Well, I just, understand this about me, Jonathan. I'm not a good faker. So if part of the story is, like I was telling you, to incorporate the American Cancer Society for my mom, while the short time she was doing that, I was oblivious, really. But it doesn't, there's not this emotion behind it for me. So I just want whatever I deliver to feel really genuine and passionate about.
Yes.
Like it really connects. So that's that's kind of where I'd be coming from if I shared, this isn't working. It's just because I don't feel I can deliver it with that level.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No,
Like I can
yeah.
deliver, I'll tell you, like a part of the story, like I'll give you a story within a story, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I am passionate about my days being one of the few, well, the only Black & Decker power tool rep that was female,
Mm-hmm.
because it was hard. Like I would go into hardware stores, to sell my wares, driving this big Black & Decker van that was full of samples. Jeff's laughing now because he can picture me doing it. I could barely see over the steering wheel.
I love it. Yeah.
And I would go in these like back offices in these hardware stores,
Yeah.
in remote parts of Illinois and Indiana and Wisconsin, and they'd shut the door and there would be like a life-size poster of the Makita girl on
Yes, I do.
clad in a bikini with a power tool belt, and I've got
Yes.
this sleazy hardware owner in front of me. So that would be one thing. And then
Yeah.
the story I always tell, just to kind of bring some, I don't know, I always tell this story when I'm talking in a group, and how one of the, I don't know, what did I call it? But, awakening moments was, I start with Black & Decker full time. I'm just out of college. I've got my shiny new briefcase. It's August of 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And the first big event I'm going to is the National Hardware Show in downtown Chicago at McCormick Place. I've never had like a quote unquote business trip in my life, right? New college grad.
Yeah.
And they put me up at the Union League Club of Chicago. And I go to check in that day. And as I'm walking through the lobby, it's all men, but I really was kind of oblivious to that. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like they were staring me down. I literally was like looking at myself like, is my zipper down?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I get to the front desk and I hear the guy says, "Can I help you?" Like with this curious, and I said, "Yeah, I'm checking in. I'm with Black & Decker." And he goes, "There must be some mistake." No, I'm looking at my sheet of paper. No, it says this is where Black & Decker is. He goes, "Ma'am, this is an all-male hotel."
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly thought somebody was playing a joke on me at first,
Yes.
but it was real. And
Yes.
and the way the story ended, they let me stay there, but I had to use the service elevator, and I could not be seen in the main parts of the hotel.
No way.
Honest to goodness, true story.
So,
That was my acclamation to the world of business.
so the females that you sell to would have such an empathy with, Lisa says, with your ovaries for going through that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Funny, the Vancouver club used to be an all-male club, and it was only in the last 10 years that they've let ladies could come for banquets and stuff, but it was a male club. And in the last 10 years, they made it gender neutral or whatever they call it these days. But
Sure.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's a story that just came to mind. But I used to tell that all the time because people would be like, "No way! What year was that?"
Yeah, not that long ago.
So
That's wow. That's just
but
nuts.
that's a story I could tell with passion, and
Oh
that's
yes.
what I think of it because
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Totally.
I know how
Yeah.
I felt standing there. Like, no way, this isn't real.
Yeah.
As opposed to say like my mom working for the cancer site, just to kind of give you some
Yeah.
insight there.
No, I get it. Thank you for that. Yeah. And it's funny, those hardware stores were also clients of my dad's, and we used to deliver paraffin to those, and they would sell paraffin by the gallon for people's lamps and so on. So I would regularly go to those stores and fill up the tank in some back alley that I used to drive my tanker, because that was the other part of Dad's business, was we all had to drive as well and deliver fuel. So from when I was 6 or 7, I was my dad's helper, if you like, with the manual hose reel.
Yeah.
By the time I was 21, you had to have that to get a 16-ton license. I was driving trucks as well. So I knew those
Wow.
power door stores so well.
Yep.
And as soon as you said the Makita Go calendar, I visualized them all over.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them used to stay up for years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And then the auto shops that we used to do were all Pirelli Go calendars, if I remember at the time. Yeah. Yeah. My goodness. Oh, this Me Too generation. Oh, you'd be strung alive for that today. But yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Awesome. Oh, I love this, Jennifer. This is so fun. Thank you so much for
No, thank you
being
for
honest.
indulging.
No, love it. This is my kind of thing. No, I can definitely have some fun with this.
Perfect.
Well, is it golf day?
Today?
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what? It was really windy yesterday, and today is even windier. I was on our balcony, and it was crazy windy.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. I was sharing with Jeff, like the older I get, the less I can take the sun. I used to be able to lay out all day,
Yes. Yes.
and like yesterday in the afternoon, I was almost feeling ill. So I don't know. And we could. Well, the point was it was super windy, so they wouldn't let us put up the umbrellas. So it was just hard to get some
no shade.
relief. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, another day in our little paradise here.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
So tell your team if you don't mind.
Yes.
I am working on my finishing touches, things they're waiting on from me, but they're not earth-shattering in terms of obviously having it up and running, and I've got to get the evaluation page done. So
okay, no problem at all.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Very, very good. Oh, one question I did have. Originally, when we set out the timeline, we agreed not to do an invoice in October because I can't remember why, but we agreed to miss a month, and the timeline's gone askew. So I haven't done a last invoice yet. So let me know when that works for you. Obviously, we're not stopping, but it was just on the payment plan. But yeah, I didn't do anything obviously in October because that's what we originally said. So. Oh, have I lost you? I can't hear anything. Hello? I don't know if you can hear me, but I've lost you. Hello, hello? Oh, how weird.
No?
Oh, you're back. Sorry, I lost you completely.
You know what happened? Yeah, I know. Here's what's happening, I noticed. When I talk on Zoom on my phone, if there's another incoming call, it totally cuts out Zoom.
It does. Yes.
So you couldn't obviously hear me, but no. I was saying.
Suddenly it went quiet.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Anyway, no, yeah, mid-November would be ideal because then I'll have my client payments come in for the first half of the month.
No trouble at all. Yeah, yeah.
And that'll help a lot.
Yeah, our pleasure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll get to work on storyboarding. Exciting. And I'll fill Lindsay in any other couple of things that we said. But if you could find that golf picture and the lake picture, that would be great.
Yeah, I will do that. I can definitely drum those up. Okay. I'll probably have to scan and send.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. And then I'll find my latest webinar and I'll send you a copy. It's probably 45-minute Zoom video, but give you an idea of how I bring my story in and how I sell the programs.
Yeah, would love to hear it.
Okay, awesome. Well, have a wonderful Halloween. If they do that in Mexico, is it? I don't know if they do they?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great day. I've lost you again. Sorry, I've lost you again.
They're having some sort of party.